Hello, and welcome to WHSH TV on this last day before spring break.
Spring break! I'm excited. We're going to hear from some fellow Hatchets on where they plan to spend their spring break, as well as having some information about some events that will be taking place here at the school after we return.
Yeah, that's right, and we only have a small amount of school left after we get back. That's 36 days to be correct, and that leaves a small amount of time for a lot of events that are going to be going on. Also in WHSH, we're going to hear from one of the big local personalities about their opinion on the recent time change, as well as Todd Riker of the Washington Community Schools about the recent security upgrades here at WHS.
36, that's so real for me. I'm a senior. All of that plus sports and a look at your spring break forecast from me coming right up.
It's March 27th, and you're watching WHSH TV. Our first story is all about time. On March 8th, Indiana and most of the rest of the country sprung forward. However, some residents say that the state was on the wrong time to begin with. Indiana has always been split by the Eastern and Central time zones, and while we see some of the benefits of being on Eastern time, others do not agree. WHSH TV spoke with former member of the Indiana House of Representatives and WAMW 1079 owner Dave Crooks on why he thinks Indiana is better suited for Central Time.
I'm very familiar with the daylight savings time debate in the state of Indiana because when Governor Daniels introduced the daylight savings time bill, I was the House conferee during the conference committee process of the legislation. And that's when you get to the final stage of the legislative session, the conferees from the House and the Senate work together to try to come up with a final version of the bill. And even though we were on Eastern Standard Time when the legislation was passed, I was attempting to get the Federal Department of Transportation to do a study around the state of Indiana to consider putting Indiana in what I believe is our natural time zone, Central Time. Indiana for years has been designated the crossroads of America. However, we're on the same time zone as Bangor, Maine and Boston, Massachusetts. And to me, that makes absolutely no sense for a state that's in the heart of the Midwest to be on East Coast time. And to give you another example of this, when the sun sets in New York City, it takes 44 more minutes for the sun to set in our state capital. So for us to continue to be on East Coast time is a very unnatural feeling, especially when we advance to daylight savings time in the summer months. From a body standpoint, when people wonder why they wake up feeling so tired and it's so dark outside, it's a very unnatural feeling. And it has a lot to do with the fact that our bodies are running about 2 hours behind the real time. And that's bound to make us feel sleepy and tired. And you know, nobody likes to go to work in the dark, but that's what we do most of the year in Indiana because we like adding this extra daylight at the end of our day. But I'm one that thinks in the long run, if you're going to have daylight savings time, which I actually do support, because if you're going to have something that's uniform for our airports, for example, it was a nightmare at the radio station, for instance, twice a year when we did not observe daylight savings time. It causes mass confusion, and that's where a lot of the transportation companies were able to make this argument with our former governor. People were confused about what time we were on during different parts of the year. So I do agree that we need to be uniform and we need to be on daylight savings time, but I think the argument that's still out there is why is the state of Indiana on a time zone that's really not the right geography for us. For example, we're the only state in America where every inch of our geography clearly belongs in what would be designated the Central Time Zone. However, every county except for 5 in Northwest Indiana and 5 in Southwest Indiana, they're the only 10 on Central Time. The other 82 counties are on Eastern Time. So you could say in our state, We have double daylight savings time. A lot of states like daylight savings time. They like the extra hour of daylight in the evening. In Indiana, if you're a big fan of daylight savings time, you ought to be thrilled because we're on double daylight savings time as far as I'm concerned. One reason why I think we'll probably never fix it or never change it, it's an issue that doesn't please the masses. For example, if you did the math, I would say probably 30 to 40% like what we're on now, another 30 or 40% would prefer central, and the remaining number would just prefer to go back to the way it was where we never touched our clocks. And from a policy standpoint in our state, unless you've got an idea for legislation that garners about 3 out of 4 individual support, it's going to be tough to pass at the state level, because as soon as you try to fix this for the group that's upset, you got a whole new bunch of people that would be mad about making this change. So I think we're stuck on Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and I doubt we'll ever be able to change it in the near future, because the facts may show that Central might make more sense, but because there's a lot of business interests that do prefer Eastern for a number of reasons, one being in sync with New York City, for example, and the fact that a lot of executives like to golf and they make decisions and they prefer to sneak out of the office at 4 or 5 in the afternoon and get a full round of 18 holes in the spring and summer months. I still believe that this bill got pushed through the legislature a lot of times by golfers who are in high and elevated places in our state, and that includes government officials and people who donate to political candidates. So you could look at this issue in several different ways, but it's just one that's too controversial probably for the legislature to take another stab at it.
In regards to daylight savings time, most of the United States abides by this social rule, sort of. However, Hawaii, Guam, Puerto Rico, Arizona, and many more do not. Daylight savings time has been controversial since it was implemented by Benjamin Franklin. For many, daylight savings time acts as a reminder to change batteries and battery backups in clocks, and more importantly, smoke detectors. In regards to daylight savings time, it has always been extremely controversial. However, one thing that we can all agree with is the safety in schools. Washington Community Schools works very hard to keep its buildings and the students inside of it safe. One way the corporation has worked harder on this is by upgrading the security cameras here at WHS. We sat down with Todd Riker of the technology department here at Washington High School and Washington Community Schools about the recent upgrades.
Well, we had cameras just here at the high school and the junior high, approximately 350,000 square feet in this building that were covered by about 50 cameras. So we had an inadequacy, number one, in the number of cameras we had in the coverage. We had several areas. When we renovated, we added approximately 30,000 feet of new construction in the junior high alone. We didn't have very good coverage on. So one of our main focuses in this building was to add additional cameras to cover areas that we didn't previously have covered. But the main impetus for replacing the entire system is that it was so old. It was installed in around 2005, 2006. As the camera technology and the recorders were so old, the software is no longer compatible with our computers. We couldn't run it. So we did have to replace with something. The other problem is the technology is analog, which means the resolution, our least expensive camera here has about 8 times the resolution the best older camera we did have. So completely different look to the cameras, much better video quality, so we're better able to see, should something happen, we'll have a better idea of exactly what happened and get the best picture we can. Another thing we did, not only are we adding cameras here at the junior senior high school, but we're also adding cameras in our elementary schools. Previously, our elementary schools only had 1 camera per building at the main door. We're adding enough cameras to cover most of the main common areas in the buildings. We're also adding a camera at our central office, a few cameras to cover some trouble spots we've had there in the past. There was a significant amount of funding, but the great thing is the state has made available school resource officer grants and school safety grants. I shouldn't say school resource officer, but it's related to the funding for that. This was actually all funded through grant funds.
The new camera security system was funded through a grant received by the school corporation. As you may well know, this week was supposed to be included in spring break, but due to some heavy snow and heavy weather, changes had to be made to our schedule. This hasn't stopped WHS students from planning to take trips during their week away from school. Colton Garland took to the halls to find out where everyone was planning to go.
Hi, I'm Colton Garland from WHSH. Right now I'm here with Sam Reister, a junior here at WHS. Sam, what are you doing for spring break?
I'm going to South Carolina with NJRTC.
Now I'm here with Matthew Sparks, a senior here at WHS. Matthew, what are you doing for spring break this year?
For spring break, I am going on a mission trip to Memphis.
I'm going to go to France on a school trip. We're going to Chattanooga! Chattanooga!
I'm going on a mission trip to Memphis, Tennessee.
Staying at home.
Babysitting.
I'm going to Seattle.
Staying home, hanging out with my friends.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
According to a national poll, Las Vegas, Panama City Beach, Miami Beach, and San Diego rank at the top for most popular spring break destinations. When we come back, Connor Nolan will have a quick look at your spring break forecasts. And after the break, we will begin a new weekly series that could affect your future. Stay tuned to WHSH TV.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Hi, welcome back to WHSH TV. As you've heard, this next week is spring break. Now this weekend, not looking so good, a little cold, a little wet. It's gonna, have a small chance of rain here in a little bit. But once spring break kicks in, it's gonna be some awesome weather for you guys. So Saturday, we start out, by the way, it's 36 degrees right now. We're looking at a low of 25 tonight. Right now, Saturday, 41 degrees, a little bit warming up. And then Sunday, it will get to a high of 53 with a 30% chance of rain. Hopefully it doesn't rain too hard or at all. And then finally, Monday, as spring break kicks in, 59 high, and then going into a 66 high on Tuesday, a 67 on Wednesday, 68 on Thursday. See the pattern? It's just going up more and more. And then Friday, could be a chance of thunderstorms. But a high of 73, and some thunderstorms are expected with spring weather, but the high pressure system coming in is going to be giving us some great weather for spring break. Come back here in a little bit on WHSH for more news with Caleb King.
This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
What if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Hi, welcome back to WHSH TV. Spring break might be next week, but there are still plenty of events going on at WHS and in the school community in the coming weeks. On April 8th, the Washington High School class of 2017 will be presenting A Mysterious Evening with Daniel Cullen. Class President Mary Barnard told us more about the event.
Hi, I'm Mary Barnard, the president of the class of 2017. As a fundraiser this year for our future prom, we will be hosting A Mysterious Evening with Daniel Cullen in the WHS auditorium. This event will be held on April 8th at 7:30 with the doors opening at 7. If you're interested in purchasing tickets in advance, they can be purchased at the WHS High School Athletic Office, at Cullen Medical, Benji's Restaurant, or in Smooth U Med Spa. advance and $12 at the door.
What I do is ask people to think of things and I tell them what they're thinking. I am a mind reader.
Again, those tickets can be purchased at the Washington High School Athletic Office, Cullen Medical, Benji's Restaurant, and at Smooth U Med Spa. For those of you who are very interested in running, Lena Dunn is hosting a fun run on April 25th. The Lena Dunn PTO is presenting the fun run as a way to raise funds to purchase educational tools for the classroom. Pre-registration for the event is $25 and ends April 15th. Same-day registration is available but will cost you $5 more. Registration can be picked up at the school or at Anytime Fitness, the New End Zone, Hibbett Sports, the YMCA, and at the superintendent's office. We now move on to something that affects a lot of people in the community: teen pregnancy. The group Advocates for Smart Teen Choices has been working with Davies Community Hospital on ways to reach Davies County teens about teen pregnancy. DCH and the Davies Community Hospital Foundation are hoping the group can reach students and help to lower the number of teen pregnancies and sexually transmitted infections diagnosed each year. The group, led by co-coordinators Kathy Atienza and Erica Francis, have been working with WHSH TV to make a weekly series for these issues. For the next few weeks, WHSH TV will have a special segment featuring members of the community who help and who are affected by these issues. Our first segment in this series spotlights a local organization that offers a sense of community to teens outside of school. Nathaniel Rainey, of the Powerhouse in Washington, tells us just how important supervision and activities are for teens after school.
One of the things that people may not realize about America and its youth is that the most dangerous time to be a kid in America is from 3 to 6 p.m., the after-school hours. And both participation of youth in risky behaviors and criminal activity, as well as victimization, where kids are victims of something happening to them, they peak during the 3 to 6 time period. And so kids are unsupervised after school a lot of times. They may not have anywhere to go. They might go home and parents are at work, or they may be running around with friends, or you know, there's a lot of different scenarios where that time period is really crucial in a kid's life, because they're kind of released from school supervision, but they may not yet have you know, the safety of their parents at home. And so it's really a strategic time for a student. They may not think about that. They may think, I don't want to be under adult supervision, or I don't want to be where there's adults. But it's a time where their safety is really jeopardized. And so knowing that, we open up the Powerhouse from 3 to 6 every weekday after school to provide a safe place. We have caring adults that are here for students. We're here to be a resource to them, to keep an eye on them. We got a meal, a warm meal every day that we offer. And we have a lot of different options to provide some positive alternatives for the negative behaviors that kids can be involved in. Not every kid is going to play sports. Not every kid is in an after-school club. And so we have a lot of different options for students to choose whatever they want to be involved in, to give them something positive to do. You know, a lot of times teens may not even be aware that they're at risk until it's too late, until something's happened. And you know, during that time, whatever you can find constructive, something positive to get involved in, whether it's a sports team, an after-school club, band, or chorus. Sometimes even, you know, you can get involved, just get a part-time job, or find somewhere to get plugged in and connected where you can avoid temptation, first of all, to do something that you may not think of at the time, but can really have a major negative impact on your life. Find something positive to engage in, and have people around you that you can trust, that you know will keep you on the right path. And once you find that, just get involved. And you know, you may not look at it as a time where with school, you know, you're working towards your future, but you can find something that you really enjoy that's going to enrich your future down the road and help you to have a better life and prevent you from either choosing to do something bad or being a victim of something bad happening to you. The more people are aware and some way get involved, you know, the better the chances are going to be that we can prevent kids from making some seriously harmful choices or having those things happen to them. And so one thing you can do is, you know, in the community you can share your passion. If you're passionate about a sport, you know, start coaching. If you're passionate about music, start teaching or offering lessons. We have a music program here where we're just getting going. We're offering lessons. If you're passionate about woodworking, you know, we have a wood shop where kids can get involved with that. Maybe it's just being a mentor. We have a skate park. We have a basketball court. Like I said, the music stuff. We have a place to exercise, and find something positive that you can share. And of course, specifically here, if someone in the community wants to be involved, they can donate a meal. They can help tutor students after school, help someone with homework. They can be a mentor to someone, or there's lots of ways to help out behind the scenes with special projects and maintenance and things like that as well.
Advocates for Smart Teen Choices will be holding a community input session on April 9th. The session will be from 7:30 to 8 p.m. at the Davies Community Hospital in the education rooms. We will continue with our series on teen pregnancy and sexually transmitted diseases after spring break. Coming up after the break, Drew Davis will have a WHS baseball preview and NCAA tournament highlights. Stay tuned.
Yes, I am.
Move! Give it to him hard!
No, ow.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No,
They want to help,
ow.
but don't know how.
Oh,
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Hey, this job looks perfect. It says you need people skills? Check. Driver's license? Check. And a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that. You are good to go.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to WHSH TV. With spring comes baseball, and the Hatchet baseball season is just around the corner. Coach Steve Reed sat down with me to talk about the upcoming season and what he is looking forward to this year.
Well, like you said, obviously only losing 2 players last year and doing something that we've not done, from my knowledge, since class, and that is playing a sectional championship game. Which, you know, was kind of weird because we had the worst win and loss season we've had in my 7 years here, but the kids really came together at the end and ended up playing in the sectional final, beat Vincennes in the semifinals, and it's a big confidence booster going into this year. So that's obviously a strength. Team's biggest strength, well, I always break it down into threes. You got pitching, hitting, and defense. I'd have to say pitching. I mean, we've got everybody back. We have a couple sophomores that threw a little bit as freshmen last year. We have a guy coming back that beat Vincennes in the semifinal. We got another guy that's a junior now that beat Mitchell in the sectional. So all those innings coming back, we didn't lose an arm on the mound, so that's got to be your strength. Every year you want to get better on the mound, you want to get better hitting, you want to get better defensively. But I feel like coming in, our strength is going to be defensively and on the mound. I want to see our hitting improve. That's the one thing I think our biggest question marks is. I believe as a team we only hit around 260 last year. So, but at the same time we have some kids that are in that transition stage between sophomore and junior year, and I feel like that's your biggest jump. So, I think our biggest challenge is going to be offensively. Are we going to step up and can we hit 300, 350, 400 across the board, some of these kids? So that's our biggest challenge. You're going to have Jasper, Vincennes, and Mount Vernon every year, the top 3 dogs in our conference. We've had years where we've kind of played right with, some of those guys, and, we finished 4-2, and I don't know if we've ever been 5-1, but, our goal is, to always try at least be 500 in conference. Of course, we want to win it. But we have to be realistic at the same time and understand that, hey, there's some pretty good teams in this conference. We feel like if we can, be 500 or better in our conference, that's what we're. Black and Gold game is the Wednesday, April 1st during spring break. We're going to have a hit-a-thon out there. Travel teams are involved in that. Junior high, basically we get our whole program together. We make it a night at a baseball program night is what we kind of call it. It's going to be topped off by our black and gold game. Everybody will get in, get an at-bat. Pitchers will throw, an inning or 2 on the mound. So great night for Hatchet baseball. Hopefully we can come out and support that if you're looking for something to do.
The Hatchets will look to do one better than last season and finish as sectional champs. The Hatchets open their season at Evansville North on Friday, April 3rd. Turning now to the NCAA tournament, the Sweet 16 began last night. With that, here's a look at how my bracket is doing so far. Some scores from last night was Notre Dame beating Wichita State 81-70, Wisconsin beating UNC 79-72, Kentucky beating West Virginia 78-39, Arizona beating Xavier 68-60. Tonight's games are UCLA versus Gonzaga, NC State versus Louisville, Utah versus Duke, and Michigan State versus Oklahoma. And now, moving on to high school basketball, the IHSAA boys basketball state finals will take place tomorrow at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. The 1A game will feature a rematch of last year's 1A title game with Bar Reeve facing Marquette Catholic. Bar Reeve defeated Marquette Catholic earlier this season. The 2A game will feature defending champ Park Tudor facing off against Frankton. The 3A game that begins the nightcap will have Griffith facing Guerin Catholic. The 4A game will have Evansville Rights facing Fort Wayne Homestead, led by Caleb Swanigan, the number 8 player in the SPM 100. If you'd like to watch the games, tune in to Fox Sports Indiana starting at 10:30 tomorrow morning. And last night, the WHS or Hatchet basketball team had their banquet, and there were several players that received honors, and all Big 8 plaques were handed out to Colton Garland, Jacob Overton, and Connor Brown. Congratulations, guys. Some of the award winners were Matthew Sparks, Mental Attitude Award, Matt Stevens, Ball Handling, Connor Brown, Defensive Player of the Year, Jacob Overton, Most Improved, and Colton Garland, MVP. The Hatchets finished the season at 17-8 and finished second in the Big 8 and were also sectional runner-ups. The Hatchets return all 5 starters and look to be dominant next season. And finally, the Coaches Association named Lady Hatchet Cheyenne Jones to 3rd Team All-State. Congratulations and good luck to Cheyenne. That's it for sports. Weather is up next here on WHSH.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Welcome back. It's time for the weather, and like I said before, it's going to be really cold this weekend. It's going to be a wee bit nipply, and then we go into next week, spring break. It's whenever spring officially starts. We've already had this first day of spring, but now it's going to finally get warm. So let's look at the map here. We have a high-pressure system, and it's moving all the way to Indiana, and with a high-pressure system brings warm weather. So, hey, it's looking good from here. Let's look at the 7-day forecast real quick. And so right now it is 36 degrees, a low of 25 tonight, and then also Saturday night. But Saturday, while it is sunny, it's going to start at 41 degrees and then go into Sunday with a 30% chance of rain, high of 53. But then it's going to start going up and up and up. Look at that pattern going on. We have Monday with sunny skies near 60. Tuesday, mostly sunny, high of 66, and Wednesday, high of 67, and it's just going to go all the way to 73 degrees because, I mean, look, today is 36. Same day this next week, it's going to be 73. It's crazy.
All right, well, thanks for that forecast. I think that's going to be a great spring break. Hope you all make a great use of it.
Yeah, you don't have to go all the way to Florida for warm weather. Stay here.
All right, well, that was WHSH TV, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.